atheist. I'm not a theist. I might not even be a deist. But you can call me an apostate. Now, I speak on things that for other people would say shouldn't concern me. It's okay. In my series of putting spirituality back into your religion, I want to talk about topics that most of your religions cannot answer or even dare not even talk about. Let's talk about the entire theory or prophecy of a Messiah. Now, your concept of Messiah has been completely relegated to talking about in your religion and the definition that your religion talks about. A Messiah is someone who saves you. I want to tell you that your religion has completely and utterly destroyed the meaning of the word Messiah. Why? We're going to get into that in this video. The entire prophecy and then any sort of outcome or fulfillment of that quote-unquote prophecy, there is a complete disconnect. What does Messiah actually mean? It means somebody who saves you, but it's only in the context of saving you from what? Your religion has completely lied to you. It is Messiah is to a group of people. It's not a personal Messiah. There's no such thing. It is ridiculous, and you all are so ignorant and stupid and don't actually speak English that you allow somebody to tell you that Messiah applies to a single person. That is ridiculous. Messiah applies to a group of people, namely an entire nation. That's the connotation of Messiah. There isn't a word for somebody who personally saves one person. Even the concept of hero is to a group of people. We've watered down that word so badly that now they're calling people who simply have jobs as being a hero. Oh, he's a policeman, he's a hero. Oh, he's a fireman, he's a hero. Oh, he's a military person, he's a hero. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Learn English. The reason you all are enslaved now is because you don't even speak your own language. That's English. You don't speak English. You speak some semblance of slang that you've adapted meaning to sounds that come out of your mouth. And I know all of you listening who are Christians or Muslims or Jews or whatever, you're going to say, you don't know anything. You don't know. You can't talk on this subject. Oh, actually, I'm an expert on this subject. Both on the subject of what words have meanings because I'm a polyglot. Go look that up. And I was deep into religion and have been all my life. Jesus never came. Jesus will never come. You will never be freed from your rulers, which is what the Messiah prophecy was supposed to do. Why are the Jews still waiting on a Messiah? Because he never came. Everybody who's screaming about the Zionists, you're siding with the Orthodox Jews who said that Jesus never came. And what's ironic is those people call themselves Christians who side with the Orthodox Jews. How can you be a Christian and be anti-Zionist, side with the Orthodox Jews, but be a Christian? It's irony. Let's continue. The Messiah prophecy was hijacked by the Romans and co-opted, giving you Asian philosophy, and even so, giving you watered down half Asian philosophy. I want to say partial Asian philosophy. They didn't give you the full Asian philosophy. And for all of you, of course, you racists, what you should know is that the Asian philosophy is actually African philosophy, because all of the philosophy in Asia comes from Africa. But of course, you all want to think that Africans don't have philosophy. Let's continue. No one is free today. It has gotten worse, not better. Oh, there's people who don't call themselves kings and queens. Oh, we're all so thrilled about that. But now the government is completely out of hand. No, you don't have a king and queen, but now you have a government who is telling you that it's okay to kill your unborn child. I mean, you have a society that says it's okay to kill off the upcoming humans. And nobody goes to jail. Nobody's even put on trial. Let's continue. Spirituality has been removed from every religion on the planet that has any contact with the outside world. So if you have some sort of indigenous group that has never had contact with the outside world, they still might have some spirituality. Because that is the point of religion is supposed to be. It's to sort of explain things that we don't understand. But a lot of times, that religion sprouts out of some sort of spiritual connection with the planet. I don't know what lightning is, so I'm going to say something about the gods being angry or the heavens opening up or something like that. But it's going to have some. Our religions today have completely removed, bleached out any semblance of spirituality in it. So now your Messiah isn't a Messiah at all. Your Messiah is, like your big brother Jesus. He comes to personally not save you from the bully, but save you politically. You were born in sin. The first church didn't say that. The first church did not. The first Christian church did not have original sin as a doctrine. I have a full video going over that. They made that up from a heretic that they had denounced. But when he explained to them the doctrine of original sin and how they could literally claim power over whole nations with that doctrine, and then, of course, build their church from that, they took him in and made him a bishop. If you don't know what that means, it's pretty high up. It's like CEO of an entire state, right? Made him a bishop. So now original sin is invented. So now you got the boogeyman. And the true boogeyman, of course, is Satan, which they also invented. Now, and a lot of the religions did not have such a thing as Satan. Oh, and Satan is not the equivalent of the ruler of the underworld. And the underworld is not the equivalent of hell. Never was. The underworld was the afterlife. Period. Everybody went there. And, they couldn't really come up with descriptions of what you do in the afterlife. So they just sort of said, it's kind of like here, except can't come up. Or actually, the Greeks said you can come back. They made up all sorts of stories like that. But for the most part, if you were rich here, you're rich there in the afterlife. So that's why they buried you with a whole bunch of treasure, so you would have treasure in your afterlife. Huh? Right? There you go. So the underworld was not hell. The afterlife was not hell. But everybody went there. And depending on what kind of good deeds you did in this life, that's how good you had it in the afterlife. But the church said, oh, everybody's born in sin. So everybody's going to hell, which is ruled over by Satan. But there's a huge disconnect. If you have Satan ruling in hell, sort of like you have Anubis, or who's the Greek guy who sits on the throne in the underworld, there is no fear of Satan. So they have to change it around a little bit. So Satan comes out of hell and he's walking around. You just can't see him. He doesn't actually do anything, but he makes people sin, and sin makes you go to hell. So then your Messiah doesn't come and save you from stuff here on the planet, which is what he was supposed to be doing, because he was flesh and blood, right? This is all the theory. He saves you from sin. But not totally. So, sorry about that. Because you can still sin. And because you can still sin, you're still in danger of going to hell. So you have to keep praying to this Jesus character, who's not a Messiah. He's kind of like a big brother for sin. A Messiah is a person who comes to relieve and save an entire nation from an actual army, from an actual enemy. And he's supposed to bring an entire army himself, and he's supposed to slaughter all the evil people. And he gets a commendation from the leader of the people that he's just saved, and then he goes back and does whatever he's supposed to do, right? That's what a Messiah is. Jesus is not a Messiah. The entire concept of a Jesus is not a Messiah. I know that they call him Messiah, but I know that they use the word. It's just like Christians use the word, the Bible, without understanding that the word Bible simply means book. And if you call something else a Bible, they will get all crazy and upset. Oh my God, that's not the Bible. The Bible is a holy. No, the word is book. That's all it is. That's all it means. There's nothing special about Christian scriptures being relegated to be called the book. And only that book, meaning the book, worldwide, universally. You don't speak English. The spirituality has been completely removed from religion. Now, what kind of God would make you have original sin? That doesn't make sense. That is also saying that God is imperfect. Now, all of this is already in the video that I talked about original sin. And I named the bishop and I go over the whole story about original sin. You've been scammed. You've been had. You've been bamboozled. You've been took. Run amok. It's all a giant hoax. And no, you can't just dismiss me. Oh, well, you don't believe in God, and you don't. No, I've studied this stuff, and I speak English perfectly. A Messiah is supposed to have a bazooka, a fully automatic weapon. He's supposed to have a nuclear bomb, and he's supposed to devastate physically your enemies. All of this stuff about Satan, which was an invention, that's all a lie. The original church said, man can do good, man can do evil. A good man can do evil, and an evil man can do good. That was not the original intent of the original church. It was simply a calling for you to do good for goodness sake. Just be good because that's how good people work. There is no saving because there's nothing wrong with you. That's the original church. Now, I want you to ask yourself, does that sound reasonable? Of course that sounds reasonable. Now, does it sound reasonable that your God would make you imperfect, blighted, and evil, and make you born this way? No, it doesn't. Because if you're good, nice, caring parents, you will see that your child doesn't pop out, stabbing people in the face, ripping their pets apart, setting the house on fire. No, your kids don't come out like that. They are innocent. And everybody says, when a child dies, they're not going to go to hell because they are innocent. Well, I want you to apply that complete logic to yourself. No God would invent you to be evil. Every single one of you, that's what being born in sin actually means. That you, by definition, pop out of the womb evil. That's ridiculous. That's criminal to teach people that you're evil and you come out of the womb evil. That's crazy. And here should be the bombshell. There were Christians in 300 BC. Now, how is that possible if he was born 300 years later? There was no Jesus. Christians, quote unquote, have existed since 300 BC. Actual Christians, and that's actually documented by secular people in their journals, in their political correspondence. That one you can go look up. Who are these Christians? Because what does Christ mean? So if you follow Christ, if you follow a Christ, you are a Christian. Same church, centuries later, now it has taken on a completely different meaning. They introduced Jesus, they introduced Satan, they introduced original sin, they introduced sin because it didn't exist before. I want you to have spirituality in your life if you're so inclined, but you have to be able to ask these tough questions. Why are you teaching a Messiah when the word Messiah means somebody who comes to physically save you as a group, not as an individual? You don't have a personal savior. That's egotistical. I have a personal savior. Oh, you mean our country was saved, but you have a personal savior? You're that important? Yes, I have a personal savior. That's ridiculous. Nobody knows you. You don't matter to anybody. Go ask your mom. She doesn't really care about you that much. What is nobody likes you and your mom could be lying too? There's something like that. There's a song like that or something like that. I'm not atheist. I'm not a theist. And I might not be a deist even. You can call me an apostate. Usually an apostate is somebody who's actually looked into the actual religion, pondered what it was about, and have come to some sort of conclusion that that religion is false. That's the real, true meaning of an apostate. You have to be something first, look at it, and come out from under it. And once again, I can't believe black people are worshiping a white God. You were tortured to be a Christian. Tortured, maimed, tortured, terrorized to make you serve Christianity. It's a blight on any African descendant that they would be Christians. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama.